The third is always the worst in the trilogy. They actually said that in the film. And it was a joke, I guess it was a joke. But in this case, it was true. And it was true. I'm not saying this was a bad film, it just wasn't as good as 3 of the last 4 films. Nowhere near as good as Deadpool, Days of Future Past, not as good as First Class, but better than the Wolverine, so I suppose it was better than the Wolverine. I would actually say if this film had been released 10 years ago, then this may have been a critically phenomenal film and it may have been incredible CGI and stuff like that. But honestly, it just didn't cut the mustard in a lot of levels. The CGI was touch and go. Sometimes it looked really, really good, like phenomenal, and sometimes it looked so bad. There were a couple of scenes with Storm in it that just stick in my mind. It was so baitly green screened, and I hate that. I would say probably half the newer characters were fleshed out pretty well. Scott, Nightcrawler, and Storm to an extent were all pretty well done, but the rest of them were criminally underwritten. Like, the spreading of dialogue in this film was disgusting. Some characters had literally no lines. Like Psylocke, it's like she's so powerful, and Olivia Munn was fine as her, but it was just a letdown. Angel as well. Seeing the EastEnder lad, Ben Hardy, in this film, like, I was hyped. I think everyone in London was relatively hyped if they watched EastEnders, like, that's Ian Beale's son, that's Peter Beale. Like, it was a letdown seeing him in the film. It just wastes, I mean, And I understand why Storm, Magneto, and Psylocke were all chosen by Apocalypse, always have. But Angel is one I never understood, like, because there are so many more powerful mutants in the world than Angel, yet he just picks him. In the comics he did it, and I understand it's probably because the angelic nature. It's like, so biblical, you are my angel, literally that, but come on, he could have chosen a far better, powerful mutant, and he would have probably got the job done at the end of the day, to be honest. So, you know, pick your team wisely.
He chose poorly.
Now to the older characters. Now, Magneto was one for me, which I wasn't sure I felt like it coming out of the film. But then on reflection, I didn't like the way they went with the character at all. Not the way it was portrayed, just the story they took with him. He literally thinks humans are swine, like they are the dirt on the ground. Yet in this film, for the first part, he just doesn't care at all, and he's like, it's fine, it doesn't matter. But that's just a no-go for the character in any way. And he's also not anyone's bitch. And in this film, he was completely Apocalypse's bitch. He was lap dancing on him. Like, he was. So that's just not supposed to happen. But they did it. I love Nicholas Hoult in this film and James McAvoy, but with Jennifer Lawrence, I wouldn't say that she melded it in. I would say that she wrote the letter about not giving a shit, and then just left it on the side with a post-it stamp on it and just decided not to post it. Because there was a little bit of effort put in, guys. Come on, there was a little bit. It was hard to see, but there definitely was some in there. I just feel she didn't put as much effort as she could have into the character in the film. It was like a mix between Mystique, Jennifer Lawrence herself, and Katniss Everdeen, and they even sort of referred to as a savior of some kinds, and I spoke, bloody hell, it was, bloody hell, that's the same thing. Also, there was too much Jennifer Lawrence in this film and not enough Mystique. Like, apparently it's because she doesn't like being in costume or whatever. If that's the case, just recast her. Like, recasting her as Mystique is the least affecting to the continuity line. So it makes no difference if you recast her, just recast her. I see why they have her Jennifer Lawrence, because, you know, bar like Scarlett Johansson, she's like the only female star who might draw in a crowd. But, like, come on, give us Mystique. Don't give us Raven. Don't give us Jennifer Lawrence. Give us Mystique. Thank you. Just remember for next time. And maybe push the shift of the film away from her and put it onto the younger characters and the newer characters. That would be lovely as well. As you know, this isn't a spoiler, there is a Wolverine scene in the film, you saw it in the trailer. I'm not going to spoil it. Wolverine just going mad and berserker, and I tried to get into it, but it just didn't work for me. And it was the scene that I was like waiting for in this film, as well as them giving us a true Scott Summers. Seeing him in this film I was waiting for, and it just didn't work for me, didn't perform for me. And it's weird because they tried to make it fit into the new continuity and the original continuity, but I don't think it did I don't think it really did, no. Apocalypse was a fine villain to me, and they gave him powers in a way that made sense, which is strange because normally they don't give a crap about making sense in these films and in this universe, but it did work for me. The only thing is at the end it sort of fell flat a little bit, and it sort of like took away from everything. I mean, Apocalypse is like one of the most powerful beings in the universe, and I didn't get that by the end of this film. Also, just to be pernickety, the editing was fine, the cinematography was fine, the directing was fine, the costume design overall was actually really good. But Oscar Isaac's voice was just weird in this film as Apocalypse. It was modulated in a weird way. I preferred the voice in the trailers. It's weird. I preferred the voice in the trailers than in the film, and I preferred the design in the film than in the trailers. So they could have just melded them together, but they just didn't. They always just don't do it, and they just mess up just a little bit, and they just messed up just a little bit there. Jean Grey, aka Sophie Turner, is being praised to the hilt in this film, and I don't know why. I didn't think she gave that good of a performance. The character was relatively well dug in and fleshed out, but I don't think she's a particularly good actress. I've only seen her in a couple of films. I don't watch Game of Thrones, so I don't know how good or bad she is in that. But from what I've seen of her, like 3 or 4 films, like the gauge I have of her is that she's not particularly great. And she didn't really give anything in this film. Just like J-Lo, I didn't really get much out of her or off of her, like at all. So I'm probably going to get hate for that because most people love Game of Thrones. I don't know if they love that character, I don't know. But personally, I don't think she's that great, and she wasn't that great in the film. Quicksilver was awesome again. Just remember, sweet dreams are made of Quicksilver's slow scenes. Wow, okay then, but he was awesome in this film. One of the standout scenes, standout characters, apart from Nightcrawler, who I loved, and Scott. But he was awesome again. Not quite as good as the Days of Future Past scene, just because it was so unique when we first saw it, but it's still incredible. The novelty hasn't worn off. If they do it again, I don't know. We'll see when we see the next film, but I thought it was great again. Finally! They gave them suits that bring the characters to life. I mean, it's been 16 years in waiting, but they finally did it, and we got the goods at the end. That's all I'm going to say about that, but whew, some of the looks of these characters, I was like, wow, I was fanboying my shit off in the cinema at the end of that film. And also, guys, there is an end credit scene, don't forget it, there is. And if you didn't know, guys, I'm from Essex. Just so you know. I have foreseen it. I think this film will make about $825 million by the end of its run. Now, is that a success? Well, the budget was 178 million. I think probably 120 for marketing, so probably at 300 million is the overall budget for this film. So I guess it's a moderate, huge, giant, small, big, giant success. If it does make that much money, hopefully it will. It's a good, decent, okay film. What would I give it out of 10 though? I think I would give this film, I don't want to undersell it, oversell it, so I'd probably say I'd give this film a solid 6 out of 10. Now, what does 6 out of 10 mean? 6 out of 10 means you should definitely go and see this film in the cinemas. It's worth the cinematic experience. So if you can, go and check this film out. It's worth the viewing. And if you did enjoy this video, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down here. If you didn't, who knows, maybe Apocalypse is going to come after. Yeah, maybe he is. He just appears out of nowhere, doesn't he? Maybe he's going to come after you. You don't want that. I don't want that. So just subscribe anyway. I've been NarendraTheComic. You have been great, and I'll see you next time. Skadoosh.